Hey everybody, excited to go over this today. We're going to be talking about hiring and building a team. I know that this is the right video for you if you have a business at all and you want to grow it, because you're going to have to build a team. You're going to have to assemble people of all different walks of life, of all different mannerisms, of all different skill sets, and figure out a way to get them rowing in the same direction to accomplish the same vision, the same mission, the same outcomes, so you can create more and more opportunity and success in the company, so then you can repeat and continue on hiring and growing and building that team. Now, to start off, this is going to be the biggest challenge you have in your business, right? I just took a few little notes. I'm always like noting down just on an envelope. Any scratch paper is a notepad to me. But this is going to be one of the biggest challenges you have in business, and really one of the most frustrating things, because it's going to feel over and over. Like, it's going to start off and you're going to feel like, I'm never going to find anybody that is going to be able to be a good fit. And then after some amount of time, you finally start finding core people, and you start keeping someone for some amount of time. And then you start kind of building that inner circle of people who don't leave, or at least leave as quickly. And then you trip to the next thing. Like, once you start getting several people under you, I hate that. It's like, we're working together as a team. So whether it's like you're the leader, it's like we are all on a level playing field, because without one, there is nothing. Like, without me, without one of those team members, like that, this isn't a whole that works together, a very we-driven operation, right? So then as you go and you get more people on the team, now it's not just about, oh, who's going to stay? Now it's about, oh my gosh, there's so many people, getting them all to go in the same direction, do the right things so we can be successful as a team. Just that change and that pendulum swings to different and new problems as that team grows bigger and bigger and bigger. We can't overstate it enough. This is more just preparation for some of these topics. This is going to be the biggest challenge that you face in business, and you should be aware of that and be prepared for that, and realize that that is going to be something that you're going to have evolutions of. You'll get a little bit figured out, and then it'll feel like a train wreck, and then you get a little bit figured out, and then it'll feel like a train wreck. And it's probably going to feel like a train wreck right when you first start hiring. That's why you need to hurry up and get good at it, or hurry up and get better, get through the part of like, I just ultimately suck so bad at bringing people on, and then get through that to where you get a little more knowledge, you get better and better and better as you go. But expect it 20, 30 years in, still make mistakes to where you're like, how did I do this? I've hired so many people, because I've had mentors that were 20 or 30 years in, they're like, hiring mistakes still happen, crazy stuff that you would never expect still happen. So be prepared and understand that that's a big part of it. Now, tip number one for building this team and continuing to build the team, starting a team, whatever level it is, you need to be marketing for new people like you market for new work. You need to constantly be putting stuff out there about how you're hiring. Your trucks all need to have now hiring on them. Your website needs to be smooth and outlined for someone to be able to go there and apply for the job. It needs to be a seamless transition from someone being interested in maybe working at your operation to submitting an application. And you need to be marketing that 24/7 in some shape or form. You need to be giving a card out to anyone that looks like a candidate. You need to be talking to, when people say they're looking for a job, if you think that they're a good candidate, always having information for those people. And then on the back side of that is you need to be interviewing consistently. And that's something that I've seen it in our business, I've seen it in many other people's businesses, is people get to a level of where they're like, oh, I got 3 people, right? That's me and one of the workers, and then one other crew, another leader, and another crew member, whatever your company's setup or structure is. And you're like, that's just who we need, right? That's just who you need until someone no longer works for you. You have to let them go. A situation arises where you're down a person, down 2 people. And that's why you need to consistently be interviewing people, to always be meeting new people and to be putting new names to new faces, because with hiring being such a huge challenge and with building a team being such a huge challenge, you also need to have someone on deck, someone on the bench, so you are ready with, hey, there's 3 other candidates that I've met since people have applied, and we told them, hey, we don't currently have a position to fill, but we're putting names with faces, and as soon as something comes up, I think you'd be a great candidate. And so good people typically have jobs already. Not everybody that's a good employee has a job. People leave something or lost something, they're desperately trying to find something new. but a lot of rock star employees are going to have to put 2 weeks in. So if you're meeting a person that's got to put 2 weeks in, and you're meeting them under the pre-context of they are potentially going to be a good fit in the future, and as soon as that opens, you're going to give them a call. Now you're prepping yourself for if someone leaves your company. And for you to be able to hire and build a team, the other effective piece you need to be able to do is you need to be able to effectively manage, one, and two, hold accountable, which is a part of management. Hold accountable and then make hard calls, letting people go, doing all this movement and shifting of a company. That is extremely important. And you can't do a lot of those things if you are under the pressure of, I have to have this person here. And so a company grows slower or has hiring or team building issues because all of a sudden now you have to keep someone there just because you need someone so bad, and you didn't keep the interviewing going. You didn't build a bench of people that could come on when you need them. And are those people going to stay there available forever? No. Are they going to maybe get a new job? Yes, or another job. But if you have a few people on that list and you're always doing that, it keeps the potential availability there, which allows you to manage and lead better internally. And that's one of the areas where we've dropped the ball the most, and just being candid and truthful, is we don't build a bench enough. And from time to time, a lot of times we do, but it's easy to fall back into that. Oh, we only need these people. We're good. Everything's awesome. Right when you think you got it all figured out, it's usually when you get your ass beat. So just realize it's something you always need to do. You always need to be building a bench. And so that's really the biggest piece of this. And then as you build this team, that building a team aspect of it, it's not just hiring, it's building a team, is this understanding that I need this to sink in. And this is from Jocko Willink's book, Extreme Ownership. This is very, very important. There are no bad teams. There are just bad leaders. You know what I hear and I see other companies internally, myself, I see people consistently, I hear the phrase all the time get thrown around, common sense, least common of the senses. And although the statement might be true, a lot of times it's said under the guise and the situation of you thinking that your team can't do anything right. Well, newsflash, when I say there's no bad team, there's just bad leaders. You hired your team, right? And then that goes up and down the chain of command. That goes from you as the owner, then the next level of people that hired the other managers. When they bitch, well, they hired those people. So that's your fault. If they truly are incapable of doing the job, it's your fault they're there. Why would you complain? Because what you can do is you can fix a situation. Maybe they are not capable of the job and then they have to be let go because something besides this job would serve them better where they'd be able to have more success. Or maybe, which I think is probably more likely, and I know I do this and I am horrible at this just because I like to race and go 1,000,000 miles an hour. And so I give breadcrumbs to people of information, expecting them to pick up those breadcrumbs and create a whole meal out of it. What do I mean by that? I mean that so often as a leader, we don't give the proper instructions, the proper tools, the proper information so people truly understand how to do something correctly. And we assume that it should be common sense. And so assuming, we know what that does. That makes an ass out of you and me. But we do it all the time. And then we put it, again, under the guise of common sense. And so what needs to be done here is better education, better information, better communication. And if you think everybody is lacking common sense and not smart enough and incompetent, you will give that vibe off that you think everybody is a dumbass. And then so also now they don't respect you and you don't respect them. Respect is a mutual thing. It's not just given, it is also received. And you don't just get respect because of a position. You get respect a lot because of how you act and how you handle situations. Who is going to look like they have no common sense or are incompetent, or who could keep from looking like that if you're asked to do a task but you don't fully understand how to do the task and you're just expected to know? I would venture to say almost anyone in that situation would look like they don't know what the fuck they're doing. And so often that is the problem. And so we need to take, and we get to take, we have the opportunity to take extreme ownership, the name of the book, of situations. Instead of saying these people are stupid, incompetent, incapable, don't have common sense, we need to say, man, I hired these people. Have I given them the tools? Have I set them up? Have I had the conversations with them? Do we need to let them go and find new people? Throw that back on you if you want to truly be able to. The hiring is the first part. The building the team, this is the hardest part. Building the team, managing the team, understanding the team, making sure that you're not like, I had this manager one time that every time a problem came up, it was almost like she pointed in every direction because it was everyone's fault except for hers. When 90% of the time as a technician, you would look back and you'd say, wow, this is really caused by her and then handed to us. And then the blame also gets thrown on us. And I remember one time she walked back and was explaining this situation and complaining about an employee, just like I am explaining management often does. This is why management complains about employees or management complains about technicians, whatever you want to say. Everybody's an employee, right? And then field people complain about management. She walked up to me and she was complaining, and I just pointed in both directions. And she's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, well, you're blaming everyone except yourself for like everything that comes up. Why don't you just change what you can change and try to make it better? But so often people then get into the thing of like, they don't have anything to change, there's nothing they can do, and they are a victim of the situation. So let that sink in. Think about what can you change. Read that book, because that'll make a massive difference on the way you lead, which will then, in fact, make the ability to grow your team and build a team and manage a team even better. So thanks for watching this. Make sure you like, you subscribe, and you share this with somebody else that you know is trying to build, hire, and have a team.